Welcome back guys. Now in this video, let's begin with the new chapter, that's a gastrointestinal physiology. Now in this video, let's discuss about the basics. See, what are the layers which are present in the GIT? Okay, how many layers are there in the GIT? First of all, please see here guys. Here, this is the innermost layer. Okay, this is the innermost layer and this is the outermost layer. So from in to out, how many layers are there? There are actually 4 layers are present in the GIT. Okay, so GIT is like a tube. Okay, it's like a tube from the mouth to anus. It's all the GIT, right? Gastrointestinal tract. Okay, it's like a tube. Now this tube is made up of how many layers? This tube is made up of 4 layers. From inside to outside, it's having 4 layers. Now what are these 4 layers? We'll see. Please appreciate here. This is the innermost layer. This innermost layer is called as a mucosa. Okay. Now this mucosa, okay, it consists of sublayers. See here, this is the mucosa. Now what are the sublayers in this mucosa? This mucosa consists of epithelial layer, epithelial layer, and lamina propria with the glands. This is the lamina propria. This is the epithelial layer. Okay, this is the epithelial layer with the lamina propria. Please appreciate, in the lamina propria there are these glands present. Okay, there are these glands present. Okay, these are the lamina propria, and the outermost layer here in this mucosa, this layer is called as a Muscularis mucosae. Okay, this is the muscular layer. So innermost layer is what? Innermost layer is the mucosa, and this mucosa consists of 3 more layers: epithelial layer and lamina propria and Muscularis mucosae. Important point is, see, don't think that these muscles are going to help in peristalsis. No, these are not the muscles which will help in peristalsis. They are different muscles. Okay, they are called as Muscularis propria. Okay, that's totally different. But important point is, see, there is also one more muscle layer which is present in this mucosa. This muscle layer is called as Muscularis mucosae. Okay, Muscularis mucosae. Okay, sir, well and good. Now, what is the second layer? See, the second layer, please appreciate this white color layer. Okay, this white color layer which I am pointing here, this is called as a submucosal layer. Okay, usually the submucosal layer have lots of glands. Okay, now one thing is very clear. In your body, all the glands, the glands and the muscles, they need to be innervated. Only whenever they have this nerve innervation, whenever the action potentials are coming, then only they will produce the secretions, or even the muscles will undergo contraction. For the muscle contraction, you need to have the nerve innervation, as well as for the glandular secretions also, you need to have the nerve innervation. So that's why, please appreciate here. See, this is the submucosal layer, right? Now in this submucosal layer, see, there are these nerve plexus present. Okay, there are these yellow color plexus present. These are nothing but the nerve plexus. Now, what is the name of this nerve plexus? The name of this nerve plexus is called as a submucosal plexus or Meissner's plexus. Okay, so what is this? This is the Meissner's plexus. Okay, now what is the importance of this Meissner's plexus? Meissner's plexus is going to the glands. Now, what the glands are going to do? Glands are going to produce the secretions. So, Meissner's plexus helps in GI secretions. Okay, Meissner's plexus helps in GI secretions. Okay, sir, well and good. Now, important point here I want you to know is, see, the submucosal layer is the strongest layer out of all these 4 layers. The submucosal layer is the strongest layer in the GIT. And if you can remember, the sutures, the absorbable sutures, which are called as the catgut sutures. Okay, catgut sutures, which are the absorbable sutures, they are made out of the submucosa. Okay, they are made from the submucosa of cattle or sheep. Okay, they are made from the submucosa of sheep. So, important point is, submucosa is the strongest layer, sir. Okay, it contains a nerve plexus which is called as the Meissner's plexus or submucosal plexus. It is helping GI secretions. Now, back to it. Now, what is this muscle layer called? See, there is this, back to the submucosa. Here, you are having these muscles. Now, this muscle layer is called as Muscularis propria. Okay, submucosa. This is mucosa. Here is submucosa and muscularis. This is the muscularis or Muscularis propria. Now, this muscularis layer, this is the real one which is helping in the contraction of GIT, helping in peristalsis, segmentation, migratory motor complex. So, for the movements of the GIT, yes, you need muscles, and these muscles are Muscularis propria. Okay, Muscularis propria. I have already explained to you. See, this is smooth muscle. Okay, this is smooth muscle, and without nerve innervation, no muscles are going to contract. Okay, a muscle need to have its nerve innervation, then only a muscle is going to contract. So, same even here in this muscularis, even here in this muscularis layer, there are these nerve plexus present. The nerve plexus are also present here. So what is the name of this nerve plexus? These nerve plexus are called as 𝐼𝐵𝐸𝐵𝐴 plexus or myenteric plexus. Okay, myo means muscle, enteric means intestines, like myenteric plexus. So this plexus of neurons which are present over here, they are called as myenteric plexus or 𝐼𝐵𝐸𝐵 plexus here. Myenteric plexus or 𝐼𝐵𝐸𝐵 plexus. What is they doing? They are helping in GI contractions. Okay, very good. Now, what is the last layer? The last layer is the serosal layer. Okay, serosa is the last layer. Okay, the outermost layer of the GIT is the serosal layer. Okay, done. Now, important point here I want you to know is, see, this nerve plexus, how many neurons are there? In the GIT, almost 100 billion neurons are there. So many neurons are there. That's why this enteric nervous system, okay, enteric nervous system is nothing but like the plexus of neurons which are present in both submucosal plexus and myenteric plexus. These are the different neurons, right? Okay. Now, so many neurons are present in the GIT. So that's why we call the enteric nervous system as a little brain. So many number of neurons are there. So much neurons are there. Now, my question is, actually neurons are supposed to be present in the nervous system, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Then how come all these neurons came to the GIT? Okay, so because of a process called as neural crest cell migration. When the central nervous system is developing, some of the neural crest cells, they will migrate into the GIT. Now they will settle down in the GIT in the submucosal layer as well as the muscularis layer. Now these cells, for example, see, imagine here is the central nervous system. Here is the central nervous system. Some cells from the central nervous system which are called as the neural crest cells. Now these neural crest cells, they will migrate, okay, during embryogenesis to the GIT. Now they will settle over there and they forms the myenteric plexus and Muscularis plexus. Okay, why I am saying this now? Because, for example, my question to you, if some neural crest cells, imagine now there is a defect in neural crest cell migration. Okay, the neural crest cell is not migrating to one particular part of GIT. Okay, some neural crest cells are not coming. So what happened to that particular segment? Now imagine this is GIT. Now to this GIT segment, now neural crest cells are not coming. If neural crest cells are not coming means no Muscularis plexus, no myenteric plexus. What happens in this part of GIT? No contractions. So that will become a ganglionic segment. Okay, no ganglionic cells are there, no nerves are there simply. So this is called as a ganglionic segment seen in a disease which we will discuss in few minutes. Okay, but anyway, now let's continue. Already we have discussed about the mucosa. So what are the points about the mucosa? Mucosa is the innermost layer. Yes, it is comprised of 3 sublayers. What are the 3 sublayers? Surface epithelium, epithelial layer, lamina propria, and a muscularis mucosae. It's a muscularis mucosae. It does not have any role in, see, okay, does not have role in peristalsis. Okay, does not have any role in peristalsis. Yes, so muscularis mucosae not associated with peristalsis. Already discussed. Now let's talk about the submucosa. Okay, let's talk about the submucosa. So submucosa is the strongest layer. It contains a nerve plexus called as Muscularis plexus. And what is the importance of this Muscularis plexus? The Muscularis plexus are going to help in GIT secretions. Now after this, muscularis layer. So muscularis layer, actually it's bit different in intestine as well as in the stomach. Okay, in the intestine there are only 2 layers of muscles present, but in the stomach 3 layers of muscles are present, which means the muscles are arranged in 3 layers. Okay, so please look at here in the intestines. Look at duodenum, jejunum, ileum in the intestines. Now there are only inner circular layer, okay, circular layer and outer longitudinal layer. Circular layer and inner circular layer and outer longitudinal layer are there in the intestines. But in the stomach, instead of 2 layers, now there are 3 layers. Muscles are arranged in 3 layers. What are these 3 layers? Inner extra oblique layer is there. See, this is the extra thing. Inner oblique layer, middle circular and outer longitudinal. Okay, outer longitudinal. So what is the extra layer? Inner oblique layer is the extra layer which is present in the stomach. Now, so here in the muscular layer, which plexus is present? It is the 𝐼𝐵𝐸𝐵 plexus. So 𝐼𝐵𝐸𝐵 nerve plexus, which are also called as a myenteric plexus, helps in GI motility. It helps in GI motility. And what is the important point about serosa? Serosa is the outermost covering, but the serosa, remember, it is absent in esophagus. Okay, esophagus do not have which layer? Serosa is absent in esophagus. Okay, done. Now, after this, let's discuss about one clinical correlation. Okay, so what is the name of the disease? The name of the disease which we are going to discuss here is called as a Hirschsprung disease. Okay, the name of the disease is called as a Hirschsprung disease. So, what is happening in this Hirschsprung disease? I have explained to you. So, while the embryogenesis, there are these cells called as the neural crest cells which will migrate, they will come down to the GIT. Now in the GIT what they will form? They will form mesenteric plexus and myenteric plexus. Okay. Now if there is any defect, see defect in migration of neural crest cells during development, it is going to cause a disease called as Hirschsprung disease, which is also called as aganglionic megacolon. Megacolon. Why the patient is going to have a megacolon, big colon? Why? Because see, most of the time this defective migration, for example, now let's try to understand like this. See, this is colon, ascending colon, transverse colon, and here is a descending colon. Here is a descending colon. Now normally what happens? See, the neural crest cells from the central nervous system, neural crest cells, they will migrate. They will migrate. Yes, they will come down onto the entire GIT. All this, like in the mesenteric plexus, in the myenteric plexus, all over these neural crest cells, they will come here. They will form ganglionic cells. They will form myenteric plexus and mesenteric plexus. They will form. But now what is happening is the problem is here. See, now there is this one part of GIT. Now there is this one part of GIT where the neural crest cells are not coming, they are not migrating. So now what happens? This part of GIT is devoid of ganglionic cells. So that part of GIT, neural crest cells are not coming. Now, do you expect peristalsis in this region? No peristalsis is there. No peristalsis is there. Now food is coming like this. So from the ascending colon, food is coming like this. Now it's going into the transverse colon, and now it's coming down to the descending colon. Now in this distal colon, yes, food is unable to move. See, even food doesn't move. Even water doesn't move without peristalsis. Even for the movement of water, you need to have the peristalsis. Now food came till here. Now food is coming here. Now there is no movement of the food. So in order to push the food forward down into the rectum, you have to send it down into the sigmoid colon into the rectum, right? Now in order to push this food down, what happened to the what will happen to the proximal segment? This proximal segment will try to hard. Every time this proximal segment is trying very much hard to push the food forward. Now this proximal segment, what it is doing? It is doing more work to push the food forward from this aganglionic segment. So during that process, what happens is the proximal segment, it will become bulkier. The proximal segment is undergoing hypertrophy. The proximal segment will become hypertrophy. That causes megacolon. So now let's see important points about the Hirschsprung disease. What are they? See, this is also called as aganglionic megacolon. Why aganglionic? Because the neural crest cells are not coming, ganglionic cells are not getting formed, no mesenteric plexus, no myenteric plexus. Now what is the defect? See, absence of the ganglionic cells both in myenteric as well as the submucosal plexus. In which part of the GIT? In the distal colon. That's right. It's a distal colon. Now, so defect in migration of neural crest cells. There is a defect in migration of neural crest cells during development. And why this is happening? Because of a gene mutation. Why this migration is not happening? This migration is not happening because of a mutation in certain genes which is called as the endothelin receptor. Endothelin B receptor gene is mutated. When this endothelin B receptor gene is mutated, no migration. So that will cause Hirschsprung disease, and this Hirschsprung disease is going to be associated with certain genetic disorders like Down syndrome. So Down syndrome, if a patient is having Down syndrome, he is more likely to get this GIT manifestation. Of course, other types of GIT manifestations are there like duodenal atresia, things are there, but yes, these Down's patients. What exactly is Down's? Down's is trisomy 21, extra 21 chromosome. Normally you are supposed to have what? You are supposed to have only 221 chromosomes, one from the mother and one from the father. One from the mother and one from the father. But if you have an extra chromosome, that is called as a trisomy 21, which will cause a disease called as Down syndrome. And if the patient is having Down syndrome, yes, he is more likely to develop such kind of GIT abnormalities like Hirschsprung disease. Guys, in this video we have seen the basics, the layers of the GIT. In the next video, let's start with the topic of GI secretions. Hope the video is helpful. Thank you.